Hi, if you're listening to this, there's a chance you're tired in a very specific way. Not tired because you're lazy, not tired because you're incompetent, but tired even though you do your job well. You show up, you take responsibility, you get things done, and somehow you're still the one who burns out first. Today I want to talk about that, not to motivate you, not to tell you to be stronger, but to explain what is actually happening, because many people are breaking without ever knowing why. Part 1. Burnout is not always a personal failure. Let me say this clearly. Burnout is not always caused by weakness. Burnout is often caused by structural mismatch, a mismatch between who you are, how your nervous system works, and the environment you're played in. Some people burn out not because they can't handle work, but because they are played in roles that quietly consume them. And the worst part, from the outside they look fine. They are capable, reliable, often well-liked, which makes it even harder to understand why they are the ones collapsing. Part 2. The tired people who burn out first. Here's something rarely said out loud. The people who burn out first are often responsible, adaptable, emotionally aware, willing to help, good at figuring things out. In other words, the people a system leans on. These are the ones who notice problems early, fix things before being asked, absorb emotional tension, fill in gaps without complaint. And because they can, the system keeps giving them more, not officially, not maliciously, just quietly, until one day their role no longer has edges, and they don't even know where they end anymore. Part 3. Why multitasking breaks certain people. Let's talk about multitasking. Multitasking itself is not evil, but the way it's used today often is. There are environments where multitasking means handling multiple tasks within one clear role, supported by structure and prioritization. And then there are environments where multitasking really means unclear boundaries, emotional labor, being the go-to person, absorbing chaos so others don't have to. If you are sensitive, conscientious, or deeply responsible, this second kind of multitasking doesn't just exhaust you, it erases you, and no amount of resilience training fixes that. Part 4. Why a small comment can break you. Many people think burnout happens because of workload, but for some, the breaking point is something small, a careless comment, a dismissive tone, a moment where your effort feels unseen. Why? Because by that point, your system is already empty. You weren't reacting to that one comment. You were reacting to months or years of overextension. That moment just removed the last reason you were holding on. This isn't emotional fragility. It's the nervous system saying, I can't keep protecting this system anymore. Part 5. This is not a moral problem. I want to be very clear here. This is not about being less kind, being more aggressive, learning to say no louder. If a role requires you to constantly defend your boundaries, that role is not designed for you. The solution is not to harden yourself. The solution is to change the structure you stand in. Some people are built to thrive in open, fluid, high ambiguity environments. Others need clear roles, defined responsibilities, predictable expectations, systems that don't rely on personal sacrifice. Neither is better, they are just different. Closing. Naming the pattern is the first exit. If you've ever thought, why do I keep breaking even though I try so hard? I want you to hear this. You didn't fail. You were played in a system that consumed your strengths. And once you see that pattern, you're no longer trapped inside it. In the next episode, we'll talk about multitasking itself, why it breaks and why it quietly destroys certain people. Until then, take this one thought with you. I didn't break because I were weak. I broke because I was carrying the wrong load. Thank you for listening. Hi, in the last episode we talked about burnout that happens even when you're good at your job. Today I want to talk about a word that shows up everywhere in job descriptions, a word that sounds impressive, a word that's often praised, multitasking. Because multitasking itself isn't the enemy, but the way it's used today is quietly breaking the wrong people. Part 1. Why multitasking became a virtue. Multitasking didn't start as something harmful. Originally, it meant handling several tasks within one clear role, switching between responsibilities that belong together, being adaptable within a defined structure. In healthy system, multitasking looks like competence, but somewhere along the way, it stopped being about efficiency and started becoming about absorbing gaps, absorbing pressure, absorbing chaos, without changing the role, without changing expectations, just adding more. Part 2. The 3 types of multitasking. Not all multitasking is the same, and this distinction matters more than people realize. Type 1. Structure multitasking. This is when tasks belong to one functional lane. Priorities are clear, workload is adjusted, boundaries are respected. This kind of multitasking can be demanding, but it doesn't erase you. Many people thrive here. Type 2. God-saving multitasking. This is when one role quietly replaces 2 or 3. Responsibilities expand without formal recognition. Your capable becomes justification for overload. This kind of multitasking burns people out, not immediately, but steadily, especially those who take responsibility seriously. Type 3. Emotional multitasking. This is the most dangerous and the least talked about. It looks like being the go-between, managing moods and conflicts, holding things together so others don't feel the tension, becoming the person everyone relies on. This type doesn't just drain energy, it drains identity, and it almost always breaks the most conscientious people first. Part 3. Why responsible people are hit the hardest. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Multitasking environments don't punish laziness, they punish reliability. If you respond quickly, solve problems quietly, don't complain, carry things all the way to the end, you become expendable. Not replaceable, expendable. Your role stretches, your boundaries blur, and eventually, you're no longer doing a job. You're holding a system together with your nervous system. And no one notices until you collapse. Part 4. Just learn to say no is not the solution. People often say, you just need better boundaries. You need to say no. But here's the truth. If a job requires you to constantly defend your boundaries, the structure is already wrong. Saying no works when the system respects limits, roles are well defined, pushback is safe. It does not work when expectations are vague, responsibility keeps expanding, emotional labor is invisible. In those environments, Saying no doesn't protect you, it isolates you. Part 5. Who multitasking is actually for. Some people genuinely thrive in fluid, high ambiguity environments. They separate emotion from role easily, don't absorb tension, reset quickly after pressure. That doesn't make them stronger, it makes them different. If multitasking drains you deeply, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means your system is designed for clarity, depth, continuity, roles with edges, and forcing yourself into environments without edges will always cost you more than you gain. Closing, reframe the question. So the real question isn't, why can I handle multitasking? The real question is, what kind of multitasking am I being asked to do, and what does this require from my nervous system? When you stop blaming yourself, you start seeing patterns. And once you see the pattern, you can step out of it. In the next episode, we talk about something many people secretly wonder. Why some people seem to survive these environments and others don't. Until then, remember this. Multitasking didn't break me. Being asked to absorb what wasn't mine did. Thank you for listening. Hi. If you've ever looked around at work and thought, how are they still okay? Why am I the one struggling? Why does this seem to break me, but not them? This episode is for you, because today we're not talking about effort, or discipline, or resilience. We're talking about difference, and understanding this difference can end years of unnecessary self-blame. Part 1. The wrong question we keep asking. Most people ask the wrong question. They ask, why can I handle this? But the real question is, what does this environment require, and who is this designed for? Because workplaces are not neutral. Every environment quietly favors a certain nervous system, a certain way of processing pressure, a certain relationship to ambiguity. And when you don't match that design, the cost shows up in your body, not your performance. Part 2. Different nervous systems, different costs. Here's something we rarely talk about. Some people can detach emotionally from work, switch roles quickly, leave pressure behind at the end of the day. For them, stress is situational. It passes. Others absorb tension, feel responsibility deeply, stay mentally engaged long after work ends. For them, stress accumulates, not because they're dramatic, not because they're fragile, but because their nervous system is attentive and integrative. It connects things instead of compartmentalizing them. Part 3. Why you can perform well and still be dying inside. This is where many people get confused. You can be competent, productive, praised, promoted, and still be burning out internally, because performance measures output, not the internal cost of producing it. Some people pay that cost with adrenaline, some pay it with emotional suppression, some pay it with long recovery periods they never fully get. If you're someone who processes deeply, you often pay with your sense of self, slowly, quietly, invisibly. Part 4. Why comparison is so damaging. When you compare yourself to someone who survived these environments, you're comparing two different systems under the same pressure. That's not fairness. That's misunderstanding. The person next to you may not feel the same way, notice the same signals, internalize the same expectations. They are not stronger. They are differently wired, and forcing yourself to match them doesn't make you better. It makes you disappear. Part 5. This is not about finding the easy way. I want to be very clear about something. Choosing environments with clearer boundaries is not taking the easy way out. It's choosing sustainability over self-erasure. Some people are meant to hold complexity, navigate ambiguity, absorb volatility. Others are meant to maintain systems, preserve continuity, keep things stable and functional. The world needs both, but we're rarely taught to tell the difference, so we end up trying to survive in places that quietly dismantle us. Closing, reclaiming the narrative. If you've ever thought everyone else seems fine, so why am I not? I want you to hear this clearly. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not failing some universal test. You are responding normally to an environment that asks too much from the way you are built. And once you understand that, you don't need to harden yourself. You need to choose where you stand. In the next episode, we'll talk about jobs that look harmless, but quietly drain people like you the fastest. Until then, remember this. They didn't survive because they were better. They survived because the system fixed them. Thank you for listening. Hi. Some jobs don't look dangerous at all. They're not high pressure. They're not technical. They don't sound demanding. In fact, they often sound helpful. Support roles, coordinator roles, flexible roles. And yet, for some people, these are the jobs that drain them the fastest. Today, we're talking about work that looks harmless but quietly consumes the wrong nervous systems. Part 1. Why these jobs are so misleading. Many draining jobs don't exhaust you through difficulty. They exhaust you through invisibility. There's no clear finish line, no clear success metric, no moment where you can say, I'm done for today. Instead, the work expands to fill whatever space you have. And if you're capable, responsive, or emotionally aware, that space becomes very large. Part 2. The hidden cost of support roles. Support roles are essential, but they're often poorly defined. They can include sales support, operations coordination, internal liaison roles, administrative support with flexibility. On paper, they sound simple. In practice, they often mean being the middle person, absorbing delays and frustrations, smoothing over conflicts, carrying responsibility without authority. If you're someone who naturally takes responsibility, this becomes a trap. You don't just support tasks, you support people. Part 3. Emotional labor without a name. The most draining part of these roles isn't the workload, it's the emotional labor that isn't acknowledged. Things like managing expectations, calming tensions, translating between departments, protecting others from discomfort. This work rarely shows up in job descriptions, but it shows up in your body. And if you're sensitive, conscientious, or deeply responsible, you end up carrying it alone until you're empty. Part 4. Why good people are targeted first. Here's an uncomfortable truth. These roles don't drain everyone equally. They drain the people who respond quickly, don't complain, fix problems quietly, care about outcomes. The more reliable you are, the more invisible work flows toward you. Not because anyone is trying to exploit you, but because the system learns who will carry the load without resistance. Part 5. But everyone else seems fine. This is where comparison becomes dangerous. Some people can do these jobs and leave them at work. They don't absorb emotional residue. They don't internalize delays or tension. Others do. If you're the second type, these roles don't just tire you. They slowly disconnect you from your sense of clarity and self. And by the time you notice, you're already depleted. Part 6. How to recognize these jobs early. Here are a few quite warning signs. The role is described as supporting everything. Success is defined by others being less stressed. You're the go-between for multiple teams. Boundaries are implied, not written. Flexibility is praised more than clarity. None of these are red flags on their own. Together, they form a pattern. Closing. Choosing work that doesn't consume you. Not all jobs that drain people are bad jobs. They are just not neutral. They ask a lot from certain nervous systems and almost nothing from others. If you've ever wondered why a job that should be easy left you exhausted and confused, it wasn't because you were weak. It was because the job quietly asked you to carry what wasn't meant to be carried alone. In the next episode, we'll talk about the most important question of all. If you don't fit these roles, what kind of work actually allows you to stay whole? Until then, remember this. If a job survives by quietly draining you, it's not a simple job, it's an invisible one. Thank you for listening. Hi, over the past few episodes, we've talked about burnout that isn't caused by weakness, multitasking that quietly erases people, and jobs that look harmless but drain deeply. So today we come to the most important question. If you don't fit those roles, if they keep breaking you, what actually works? Not in theory, not in motivation posts, in real life. Part 1. What this is not about. Let's be clear about what this episode is not. This is not about fighting your passion, reinventing yourself, becoming fearless, or doing what you love. If you burned out, you don't need inspiration. You need stability. So today, we're not chasing meaning. We're rebuilding ground. Part 2. The kind of work that heals by not hurting. For people who burn out due to structural mismatch, the solution isn't lighter work, it's clearer work. Work that has defined edges, has a visible finish line, doesn't rely on emotional absorption, doesn't quietly expand because you're capable. This kind of work doesn't feel exciting, and that's the point. It lets your nervous system settle. Part 3. Roles that tend to be safer. Not titles, patterns. Safer roles usually involve tracking, reporting, forecasting, controlling, maintaining systems. You contribute through clarity, not availability. You're valued for accuracy, consistency, follow through, not for being the person who always helps. These roles don't make you feel special, they make you stable. Part 4. Why stability comes before fulfillment. Here's something rarely said out loud. Fulfillment comes after stability, not before it. When your nervous system is constantly overloaded, curiosity disappears, creativity shuts down, clarity becomes impossible. People often think they've lost themselves, but they're just exhausted. Once stability returns, Interest returns naturally, without forcing it. Part 5. Letting go of the hero role. Many people who burn out are quietly carrying a hero identity. The one who saves situations, fills gaps, absorbs chaos, makes things work. Letting go of this role can feel like losing value. But here's the truth. You don't stop being valuable. When you stop sacrificing yourself, you stop bleeding. Part 6. Choosing sustainability over approval. Choosing work that fits you may disappoint some people. They might say, you're capable of more, your playing is safe, you're underusing yourself. What they often mean is, we benefited from your overextension. Sustainability isn't settling, it's choosing to remain intact. Closing, a different measure of success. If this series has done one thing, I hope it does, that you stop measuring success by how much you can endure, and start measuring it by how clearly you can think, how consistently you can function, how much of yourself you get to give. You don't need a job that proves your worth. You need one that doesn't consume it. And that choice, quiet, uncelebrated, deeply practical, is not weaknesses. It's wisdom. Thank you for listening to this series. And remember, the right work doesn't make you heroic. It lets you stay human.